Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by singer-songwriter duo Sisters J. This band is from Tennessee. It is made up of two sisters by the name of Elizabeth and Lily Jackson, and they just released a single a few months back that has made the charts. And we're going to be talking to them about their music and how they got started and everything that they're going to be up to. So, Sisters J, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us on. Thank you.
Why don't each one of you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am Elizabeth Jackson. I'm the elder sister in the duo. And I've been doing music for a long time. It's always been one of my passions, and it's various forms. And I'm currently in grad school. And so doing our career while being in school it's a challenge, but it's still really fun. I'm 23 years old, born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. I think I answered all the questions.
I'm Lily. I'm 20, also born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been doing music for as long as I can remember. I know musical theater helped with a lot of singing and all that, kind of flourished that a lot. I started when I was 9. I am now in college as a sophomore at Lipscomb. And yeah, it's great. I love it.
Well, let the listeners know, I know you guys been doing music for a very long time. You seem to love it. This is one of your passions. What made you get started to realize, hey, I really like this and I want to take this serious?
Well, let's see. I've always loved writing and writing poetry, and that turned into writing songs as soon as my love for music became prevalent in my life. Um, when I was about 11 and 12 was when that love for writing started, but we didn't really start singing together until I was about 15, 16. And you were 12, 13 years old.
Something like that.
And our mother wrote a children's book, and her writing partner wrote um, a couple songs for the book, and we recorded those songs. So they're in the back of the book on the CDs. Those are on Amazon Music. And that was our first recording process. That was really cool because that's always something that I had wanted to do, just because I had written songs. And then from there, it kind of sparked an interest of maybe we could do this. And we started singing together and making connections and networking, and just to see what really happened. And it's led to where we are today.
So if somebody came up to you guys and said, hey, Sister J, what's your genre of music? How would you describe your genre of music and the type of music that you write?
That's always been a difficult answer, just because we've done so many types of music and it's hard to narrow down exactly the genre. I think the best way to describe it is probably folk pop, because most of the stuff that we have out right now is more pop.
Yeah.
But we tend to write in the folk-ish style, and I think that's where we fit in. I feel like sometimes we have a hard time fitting into a genre because we don't like being put in a box, quote unquote.
No.
But I think that's where we fit, is between folk and pop.
Okay, well, tell us about some of your musical influences. Who do you guys listen to get your writer's juices flowing, or who are your favorite artists?
I think for our music now, at least, I think one of our inspirations is the Oh Hellos. At least that's who it is for me. I really like their stuff. They're a Christian folk band, and I love just I don't know, the feeling the music gives me and just the style and stuff.
We
And,
love the Oh Hellos. We like The Amazing Devil.
Yeah.
I love John Bellion, who
Mhm.
has become fairly popular recently, and he just did the Jonas Brothers album, which was cool.
Mhm.
And of course, we love the greats. We love the Beatles. I have a Prince shirt on today. We like Tommy Shaw.
Yes.
I grew up listening to Adele. And then that mixed in with our
ABBA.
ABBA, yes.
Mhm.
And our musical theater love for Broadway show tunes.
Mhm.
It's kind of a melting pot of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
The Foo Fighters is also a big inspiration for me,
Mhm.
which is not the same genre, but it's more so of
Yeah.
the writing process and when it comes to putting things together and how to write a hit song, or at least we try.
Yeah.
We try.
I have to say, we listen to like pretty much every genre imaginable. But when it comes to what we're inspired by for our own songs, those are the genres, inspirations.
The people specifically,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, well, tell us about the single that was released in the summer and the charts that it made and what inspired it, and just let the listeners know all about it.
Yeah, Breathe In is probably one of my favorite that we've released so far. I think it also has the longest journey of growth since its birth. Because I originally wrote it in 2016 and Lily helped me finish it. All of those counter melodies and all the other harmonies, that's all her genius over here. It originally was intended to be a lullaby. And it's not a lullaby, but I wanted to write something to give peace to people struggling with anxiety and stress. And I mean, who doesn't struggle with stress in life? And the first thing we forget to do is breathe. And I know, at least for me, if I can breathe and recenter myself and remember my foundations, then I can think clearer and I can continue to go forward with whatever is happening in life.
Sounds like your dog is struggling with stress too.
Yes,
Good way to put it.
We love her. She's being a good guard dog right now. But so the song's original title was Who You Are, because it's really easy to not be true to yourself in this world, and you can lose sight of a lot of things. But and we had performed the song that way for so long that it still holds a really, really deep place in our hearts. And the song, the way that it is now, it has the same bones as that song, the original. We just spruced it up a little bit. When we presented it to our producer, he really liked it, and we added an extra verse. Well, we added the bridge,
Yeah.
and Lily had the idea to kind of spruce it up like the Oh Hellos and make it sound more like them, just like upping the tempo, and then especially with adding the actual physical breathing sound, which was all her idea, which is really cool. And then that made us be like, why don't we just call it Breathe In? Because that's what the song is about, to physically get people to breathe with us when we sing this song. And so it's meant to be a very uplifting song for people to remember who they are and to just breathe and remember it's okay. And we're trying to use it to bridge the gap between diversity and inclusivity, because everybody struggles in life and we all forget to breathe. It's a universal experience. And so we think that that's just something that everybody should be able to partake in and just enjoy together.
Well, tell us about your famous producer that you mentioned, Ted Theo. Tell us what it's been like working with him and how you guys hooked up with him.
He definitely is an interesting person, but he's very talented.
Very much.
he's worked with so many people, and to hear his stories, it's been a very cool experience to hear because he'll just casually bring something up and it's like, whoa, what?
You did
And
what?
that's really cool. But we met him through our mom's writing partner, Thornton Klein. As Thornton had been commissioned to write a song, and he brought Ted in to produce it for him.
Mhm.
And we were there. Yeah, it was for a music fest in China. And Lily recorded a little bit on that record, which was really cool. And I was there that day. And so we wanted to meet Ted to kind of introduce ourselves and say, hey, we are budding artists. We'd love to talk to you and show you some of our music. And so that turned into him coming over to the house, and we showed him some of our music that we've been working on. We showed him Breathe In that day, and it's the original version of it, and a few other songs, and he became interested and we wanted to work together. And it took a little bit to get things out just because we were both in school at the time, and I had gone away to school, and coordinating our schedules was a little tough, but we still made it happen. And working with him has been, he says that it's very flattering that he says that we're very easy to work with. And we like learning from him because he's worked with so many people, just to gain more knowledge on like how to go about recording all the formalities, but also just to have fun with it and to learn more about the production side of things rather than just the writing process. And we perform live with him a lot at our gigs, which I enjoy so much because it's so raw. I've always loved that because the physical barrier is not there anymore. Like you get to be there with the people and share your messages with them. And we love to perform live together because he has a lot of music that he can play and that he'd love to hear us do. And then we give him ideas and he's like, ooh, let's put our own spin on it. It's been really cool.
Okay. Well, you all were also finalists in Hendersonville, Tennessee's Got Talent. So tell us about that, how that got started, and what that experience was like.
We've done it twice actually, which is cool. The first time we did it was before we knew Ted. That was in 2016.
Yeah.
We were babies back then.
He was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
We
Barely in
were
middle school.
performing a worship song that I wrote, and Lily and I wrote it together. It's still one of my favorite things that I do want to record eventually. And I didn't think that we were actually going to be finalists. We were like, let's just do it for fun. Let's just submit the video. And then all of a sudden we're on the stage in front of 15,000 people. And I think I've blacked out a little bit, not going to lie. But
It was pretty crazy.
it was cool though. It was a cool experience. And then the second time that we've done it, we made it to the final 10, but not to the top. But it was still a really cool experience to get to listen to a ton of new artists, budding artists, and to see their spin on things. And we actually performed Breathe In before we recorded it. And that was so fun. I do remember not being able to do a sound check, and that aggravated me just a little bit.
Literally both times we didn't have a sound check. We couldn't really hear each other. It was still a fun experience, but
we worked with what we had.
Yeah.
And it was still fun to perform and to get our music out there. It was just a little bit of a challenge. But it's having these opportunities has been wonderful. And I say that one of the main ways that we've been able to do these things is through networking, because our mother is a genius at that. She's so good at networking, and we know so many people now and have so many connections because of her. And it's been really cool to continue to nourish those relationships, not only to see what we can do, but to see like what they can do for us and how we can collaborate, what we can do for them, things like that.
Well, speaking of that, you guys have performed all over the place on radio and television and even iHeartRadio. So kind of talk about some of the special places you guys have been able to perform and, kind of what those experiences were like?
It's been really cool because we've been doing it for a long time, even before we were officially Sisters J. Especially when Mom was doing radio interviews with her children's book, and we'd come on and sing the songs that were in the back of her book.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting to do that at 15 for me, and you were 12, 11,
Yeah.
12, was very, very cool because not very many people get to do that at that age.
No.
And sometimes if you don't really take that in, you can take it for granted. But there's so many times where we've been on and we get to sing our music, and then it's like, whoa, it doesn't hit you until you're actually there in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it's like people are listening to what we've created. And that's a really, really cool experience. And just to talk about what we've done so far and what our passions are, and people who have hosted these radio stations like you have been really wonderful, and they're really fun to talk to. And it's been a God thing for sure.
Mm-hmm. Remember recently we had an interview at a radio station that we had actually been to before, but it was so many years ago. And I remember going and I was like, I feel like this is like a fever dream. It was really cool.
Little House in the Woods.
It was just this little house in the woods, but it was very fun. And yeah, it's been fun going to radio interviews, but also having them like this. And it's just a fun experience. And yeah.
But tell us about any current or upcoming projects that you're working on that people need to know about.
We have a few projects in the work. We are working on a Kickstarter as of right now to raise money to finish our album and to spread more messages about diversity and inclusivity. We're trying to, like I said earlier, bridge the gap between diversity and inclusivity. And we have a little brother who has autism, and he's a wonderful human being. We love him so much. He's a little nuts sometimes, but he's just 10. And just to raise awareness for things, and to just put our love and passion out in the world. And that'll be on our website soon. And if people want to know more about our upcoming performances and things, they can go to sistersj.com, which is where all of our updates will be, and just links to our music in general and who we are is on there. And we have just finished recording our next song, and it will be released after the Christmas season, after everybody's love of Christmas music is kind of passed. And this song is a little different from the rest of our songs, just because it's not necessarily a sad song, but it just touches on like deeper things, because I think it's very important to acknowledge things that happen in life, and not necessarily to dwell on them, but to just acknowledge them and be like, hey, it's okay, it's going to be all right. And to be resilient. And I know that, at least for me, this song, I started writing during the pandemic, and I had major writer's block during the pandemic, especially when I had gone back to school when we were online. And I had been listening to one of Taylor Swift's new albums, and I hadn't listened to her in a long time. But I really liked how she wasn't just telling her own story, she was telling other people's stories. And so she served as an inspiration for me, in the fact that I was like, okay, I can pull from other people and not just myself. And so I went on TikTok and made a video that said, comment something about yourself and I'll write a song about you. And I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, but it exploded. And so I had so many different people respond to so many different forms of inspiration, so many different kinds of music and things. And I found a few, and I wrote a few little ditties, and I haven't finished them, but one of these is one of those. And I just think that's really cool. I've always loved this specific piece, and Lily and I have recently finished it. And I know that I was 20 years old at the time, and 20-year-old me needed to hear this. And so if 20-year-old me needed to hear this, and other people in the world did too. And so that's what we want to do with this song.
Okay, well, you guys answered my next question, throwing out your website, sistersj.com. And I just want to say real quick, you talked about how your brother has autism. My son has autism as well.
Yeah, our mother is an advocate for special needs.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I also actually have autism. But I mean, my mom has helped me a lot and stuff.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. Well, close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to touch on that you would like to talk about, or just any final thoughts you have for the listeners.
See, like never give up on your dream. Never forget the parts of you that make you you, and live that to your fullest. No matter what you have going on, just live yourself to its fullest.
Remember to breathe when you do that.
Please.
Because life is so fast.
Mm-hmm.
It moves so fast. And you don't realize how fast it moves until you're on the other side of something. And I think just people always say to remember to follow your dreams. And sometimes that can get watered down, but it still has so much weight. And so, like Lily said, just to remember, just to take a few minutes to breathe in and remember those things. Because then you can better remind yourself of why you're on the path that you're on, or the path that you want to take, or things like that.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, sistersj.com. Please be sure to check out everything that they're up to and keep up with everything that they're up to. Follow, rate, review, share this episode to as many people as possible. If you have any guest or suggestion topics, cjackson102@cox.net is the place to send them. As always, remember to breathe. Thank you for listening. And Sisters J, thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.